I like that. I've changed up the angle because the last one wasn't really tickling the old pickle anymore. Bit of a freshen up, but I think this is actually better. Anyway, today we are looking at the top 5 mistakes that I made when starting out as a freelancer, filmmaker, photographer, whatever you want to call me. And I'm hoping that by telling you what they are, that you can learn from my mistakes and not make them yourself. Plus, if you stick around to the end of this video, I'm going to give you some advice that I think is invaluable to anyone starting a freelance photography and videography business. Also, if you are new to this community, then why not hit the subscribe button down below, ring that notification bell, like this video, all that kind of good stuff. Anyway, into the first mistake. And when I tell you what the first mistake is, you're probably going to go, well, actually, I'm not going to make that mistake because I'm not a complete and utter plum sponge. I'm not actually going to make that mistake because I'm not a complete and utter plum sack like you, obviously. Well, I didn't think I was a plum sack at the time because it's little mistakes like this that catch us all out. And that is batteries and memory cards. So batteries, you need to make sure that you have more than enough. So if you think you're going to need one, bring 2. If you think you're gonna need 2, bring 3, and so on. And if possible, bring a means of charging those batteries with you, whether it's a USB power bank, whether it's your actual charger, and there's gonna be somewhere to plug in. Just make sure that you have enough juice, because it will literally be like if you got in a taxi and the taxi driver takes you halfway to where you're asked to go and goes, "Oh, sorry mate, I've run out of petrol, you're gonna have to walk from here." How unprofessional is that? You are not getting what you paid for, and it's the same from your client's point of view, that if you say, "Sorry, got to cut the shoot short because I've run out of battery on my camera." See where I'm coming from? And with memory cards, make sure you have enough, because even if you only think you need 1 card worth of space, what if you drop that card in the puddle? What if that card corrupts? What if that card doesn't work? All of those kind of scenarios, you need a backup. And you need more than enough space. Every single card you have with you, make sure you have dumped the footage that is on it and formatted the card the night or the day before, or at least before you leave to go on the shoot. Because this caught me out massively. Didn't pay attention to this, and I ended up having 2 separate shoots on the same card, neither of which were dumped. So during the second shoot, I was having to go back through and play footage to find out stuff that I could definitely film again or definitely didn't need, so I could delete it to try and make enough space. And this is just so unprofessional, really embarrassing. Never do that. Make sure your card is completely clear so you fill it up with footage from that shoot and nothing else. The next mistake I made was not bringing enough of the right equipment. So here, when you're prepping all your kit ready for your shoot and you pick something up, whether it's a stand, your gimbal, a lens, whatever it is, and you go, I probably won't need it, bring it with you, because you never know what you're gonna need when you're actually there. Unless it's something that you can hands down go 100 million, bazillion, gazillion, billion, trillion % don't need, then yeah, don't bring it with you, because it minimizes that risk of stuff getting lost, stolen, damaged, all that kind of crap. But if there is even a tiny % chance that you may need it, trust me, when you're in that position where you go, I really need that extra stand, or I really need the 50mm lens, I'll tell you what, that was worth the extra 30 seconds it took to go back inside and stick it in my bag. Make sure you've got enough gear and the right gear with you, even if you don't use it. It's better to have it with you and not use it than not have it when you need it. This is a mistake that I certainly made when I started out, and it's still, in a way, a mistake that I still make now. That's because it's more of an ongoing process that you just get better and better and better at. You'll never be perfect at it. But that is having a plan A and a plan B, and researching those plan A's and those plan B's. And what I mean by plan A, B and research is plan your shoot, whether that's your shots, what gear you're going to use, where you're going, the timings, any talent, any models, for example, that you need. Make sure you've got it all planned so everything runs smoothly. And what I mean by plan B is have a contingency. So if part of that plan goes wrong, you need to know what you're going to do to rectify that problem or get around it so you can still get as close to or nail that shot that for whatever reason you couldn't do in plan A. And then this is where the research comes in. So for example, I planned an interview. So I planned how I was going to shoot it, how I was going to light it, the questions I was going to ask, the audio setup, all that kind of stuff. But the research that I didn't do was to find out whether there was mains power where we were. Never assume anything about a location. Actually got there, we're in the middle of buttfuck nowhere. Electricity hadn't even been invented where we were. So I had no chance of plugging in my light. So my plan B was to use a battery powered light. But if I'd known this, I wouldn't have bothered packing all my softbox and stuff like that. Plan what you're gonna do, plan for if something doesn't go right, but do your research to make sure those plans will be effective. You with me? That's a bit of a complicated one. On to the next mistake. Mistake 4. Thumbnail time, I think. It's a common mistake. I've made it a lot of times, and even to this day, I'm still not great at not making it. And that is, you forget about the most important thing involved in this process. You forget about looking after yourself. Look at your location conditions, your weather conditions, time of day, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you're wearing appropriate clothing, footwear. If it's blazing hot, wear sunglasses, sun cream, all that kind of stuff. I'm not your mum, I don't need to tell you this. It's so easy to get so focused on making sure you've got the right kit, you're doing the right shots, that you forget about looking after yourself, and you get to the end of the day and you're red raw sunburn, or you're freezing your tits off because you didn't bring a coat or gloves or whatever it may be. Make sure you're eating and drinking. I mean, I don't know what you're like, but this was my biggest downfall. I'd get so focused on making sure I was getting everything right, worrying that I wasn't getting the shots or whatever it is. I wouldn't even drink for like 6 hours, and it would hit me like an absolute fucking train that my head would just go poof because I was in so much pain and dehydrated, not eaten enough, and had no energy. My performance as a person was going down because I didn't have the energy and all the fluids in me, and as a result the quality of my work I was producing was also going down because I couldn't perform at my best. So make sure you've got snacks, you've got drinks, you rest, you wear the right clothing. Please look after yourselves out there, guys, because it is so easy to get focused on what you're doing. You forget about you. Not only affect the work that you produce, but it can also affect your health. So you've got to look after yourself. A client is not going to not pay you or turn their nose up at you because you stop and have a drink of water. It's never going to happen. And make a thing of it. Bring bags of sweets, share them around. No one says no to free sweets, apart from kids. Anyway. My 5th and final mistake that you need to avoid as a new filmmaker, photographer, videographer, blah, 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 is this whole world of that'll do or I'll fix it in post. Nip that in the bud as soon as you can. And we've all been there. I've been there. You get lost in the excitement of how amazing Photoshop is with content aware fill and the clone stamp and all that kind of stuff, that you almost get like, oh, I'll leave that there and I can just Photoshop it out later because you think, yeah, that's what I should be doing. No. Get it right in camera, and trust me, you'll thank me for this later. You know, I've been there. For the sake of moving a cone or a water bottle out of shot, I go, no, I'll just get rid of it in Photoshop. And yeah, while that process may only take you a minute, 2 minutes in Photoshop per photo, you times that by 10 photos, that's 20 minutes. And in this game, time is money. The quicker you can get those products delivered, the more money per hour you're earning. So for the sake of just going out of frame, done. And it's the same with video. Watch clips back, take the time to light it right, expose it right. The worst time I done it was I didn't watch my clips back to notice that I hadn't changed from NTSC to PAL on the video system. So some of the lights were flickering horrendously and made 90% of the footage completely unusable. And that could have been prevented if I just watched a clip back and gone, oh, it's flickering, change that setting. And sometimes you have no option. Sometimes there's stuff that needs photoshopping, that needs editing, then you can't get around that. But if you can, don't rely on it, because it can either backfire and you can't Photoshop it, you can't edit it, or it takes more time. If you have watched this far, thank you so much. Now some advice, some stuff that I've learned and stuff that I think is important for you to bear in mind now that you're starting out on your journey as a freelancer, as a filmmaker, as a photographer. There's a difference between making Instagram content and YouTube videos for yourself, because it's creative freedom. You do what you want, right? However, when someone is paying for your time for you to deliver them a product, they know what they want as a result. Granted, you get the odd, and they just go, get your nuts out, go mad with it, that's fine. But yeah, there is times where their request may be unreasonable, or you can come up with a better suggestion that will be a better product. And by all means, advise, suggest, talk to, run through these ideas with them. But if they say, I am paying you for this, you give them this. Don't give them something different. Remember, quality is subjective. Something you think will be really cool and modern and funky, they may just want a really clean cut, basic talking head interview. And that's what they want, that's what they're paying for. Don't give them flashing titles and B-roll and thumping music and stuff, because that's not what they want. Remember, when you are out there, you are a walking, talking, moving, living, breathing advertisement for you, for your business. Be friendly, chat to people, have a big smile on your face. That says more than any Facebook advert, any Instagram post can ever say about you. If you walk around with a face like a slapped ass, people aren't going to want to even approach you and say, oh, I've got some work that needs doing, because they just think, what a miserable twat. You're not inviting. If you're out there enthusiastic, go out there, just make the most of it, because the people around you, when you're doing stuff, that is the prime time that they go, oh, I need some work doing, I'll just grab this guy, because they didn't have the time to spend hours researching it. So you can have the best website, because if you're miserable, rude, grumpy, whatever it is, no one wants to be around you, no one's gonna bother asking you, and they'll just ask the next person who they bump into with a camera. This, in a way, leads on to the final bit of advice I've got for you. Your confidence needs to be up here. Not only do you need to have confidence in what you're doing, even if it is a shot you've never done before, a setting you've never used before, a bit of kit you've never used professionally before, don't let them see that, because you know how to use it better than them. So if they think you know what you're doing, then the client is happy, they're relaxed, they're confident in what you're doing, and they're more than happy to pay you to do that. The other side of the confidence is be the center of what's going on. Something that I see a lot of people struggle with, and that's having a voice, that is directing people. If you could just stand there for me, please, mate, and then Mary, if you could just move a little bit to the left. It's just directing people, telling people what to do. Most of them have never been in front of a camera before, for example, and it's just telling people in simple ways, just have the confidence to put them where you need them, because you don't want to get back, sit down and look at a shot and go, oh, he should have been stood there, she should have been facing this way. You don't want that. And for the sake of telling people, because no one is going to go away, I'm going to stand there because I think it looks better. They're just not. And if they are, then you don't want to be working for them anyway. Be confident in what you're doing, and be confident in what you're saying, and do not be afraid to tell people what you want for them, where you want them, how you want them, whatever it is. You need to get it right. I really hope that helps, and I hope that if you've not made any of those mistakes before, that this video stops you making them, and hopefully that advice gets some cogs turning in your brain to help you build and grow your business. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this far. If you do want to join this fantastic community, then hit that subscribe button down below, ring that notification bell like a ringy thing, thump that like button like it's a punch bag, I don't know. But yeah, until then, I'll see you in the next one.